Government. An ordinance is a local law or regulation enacted by a city or county's governing body, such as a city council or board of commissioners. Ordinances, also referred to as code of ordinances or municipal codes, can cover a wide range of issues within the municipality, including noise restrictions, zoning regulations, business licensing requirements, and regulations related to public health and safety. Ordinances must be passed through a formal process by the City Council or governing body, and they can also be amended or repealed through a similar procedure. To find a list of the City of Fayetteville Code of Ordinances, visit www.fayettevillenc.gov/municipal code.
Talk about serving as a police officer. This is not just a job, it's a calling. A calling to protect, to lead, and to make a real impact on the lives of others. Policing is challenging. It requires strength, resilience, and an unshakable sense of duty. You'll be asked to face difficult situations, make tough decisions, and sometimes put others before yourself. But in return, you'll gain the honor of serving your community, the satisfaction of knowing you've made a difference, and the pride that comes with wearing the badge. What we need are individuals who believe in justice, who value integrity, and who are committed to fairness. We need people like you, people who are ready to stand up for what's right and to serve with compassion, courage, and respect. If you're looking for a career that will challenge you, inspire you, and allow you to be a force for good, policing is the path for you. This is your chance to step up, to serve, and to help shape the future of this community. Join the Fayetteville Police Department. Have faith in service, pride in commitment, and dedication to excellence.
A municipal charter is the legal document that defines the organization, powers, functions, and essential procedures of city government. The charter also details which form of municipal government it will follow. The City of Fayetteville has a council-manager form of government. This is the most common form of municipal government. In this form of government, the City Council establishes laws and policies, sets strategic priorities, and adopts the annual budget. The Council appoints a professional city manager to carry out day-to-day administrative operations, such as managing employees, finances, and resources.
We did it. Well, good evening, everyone. We'd like to call our May 11th, 2026 council meeting to order. We thank you, those who are joining us in the audience, those who are also joining us remotely and virtually. We thank you for doing so. We are glad to be with you. We have our council member to my left back, the Dean, Council Member Hare, who's been here, who hadn't been here for last few meetings. We're certainly glad to see him. And before we get too far in, we always start with prayer. I'll come back to Council Member Hare. He has some brief words he'd like to share immediately following. But at this time, if we could have Dr. Ann Dockery from Soul Harvest Church. If Dr. Dockery would come to the podium, if we could all please stand for the prayer as Dr. Dockery comes. And we would ask at the end of the prayer if we could repeat the Pledge of Allegiance in unison. Hey, Dr. Dockery.
All right. Hey, Doctor. God bless you. Father, in the matchless name of Jesus, we thank you this evening, God, for your grace, your mercy, your goodness, and your kindness. We thank you for the privilege, oh God, to lead, oh God, in the name of Jesus, for leadership. We thank you for the privilege of servanthood, oh God. For you say, he who is greatest among us must be servants among us. We thank you for wisdom. We thank you for unity. We pray, Lord God, that you would envelop this council this evening, oh God, that you would be with them, that you would lead them and guide them, that, Lord, they would trust you with all they are and all that they have, that they would trust you in decisions, both large and small, that they would consult you and lean and depend on you, that, Lord, they would do justly. For you say, when the righteous are in charge, the people rejoice. Let justice be done, O God, and let consideration be done to the least and the greatest, Lord, to all, in the name of Jesus. Lord God, and we thank you for the spirit of integrity. We ask that it would be evident in this place this evening. We thank you for the spirit of unity. Lord, for even that when we disagree, we can agree to disagree. Yes, we thank you for your love. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your goodness. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Dockery, thank you so much for that wonderful prayer. If you could take just a few minutes, tell us about yourself and your ministry.
Oh, well, I am Bishop Ann Newell Dockery. Many know me as Newell, but I got married a few years ago, and my husband is out there, Minister Dockery, and I thank God for him and for the ministry. I am the founder and pastor of the Soul Harvest Apostolic Church at 135 North Main Street in Spring Lake, North Carolina. I am also the founder of Harvest House Outreach Ministries. We serve between 700 and 900 Cumberland County citizens on a weekly basis with hot meals, groceries, clothes, and counseling and guidance. That's what we do. We're a small church, but our motto is we're a church not just in the community, but there for the community. And we consider it a privilege and an honor to serve the residents that God has blessed us to be near. Yes. One thing we always say, if our church left the community, would they miss us? And we know that is true. They would. Thank you for the privilege of service and for having me this evening.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dockery. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, your husband, Reverend Dockery, and also the other ministers that make Soul Harvest such a great asset in our community. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for the prayer and joining us tonight. Council, with that, we will move to our Dean, City Council, who's back. He's been out playing a little hooky, but I'll turn it over to Dean Hare, Councilman Hare.
I didn't think this was going to be hard, but to start settling in my spirit, I want to thank of course, my colleagues here for keeping. Is it not on? Something on my beard? I was eating chips. I got it. Let me get it off. Let me get it off. I'm there. That's what I mean. My team is looking out for me. Thank you. First, I just two announcements, but one is I want to thank, of course, like I was saying, my colleagues around the diocese that kept up with me while I was ill. I was extremely sick, and but thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and the medication and the doctors that I'm stronger. I'm healed in Jesus' name. I feel so good. And I just wanted to thank my colleagues for some of you all sent me some impactful texts that you touched my heart. And I was overwhelmed with text messages and calls and emails and cards. I even received some tonight just getting my mail for the first time. Thank you all for that. So that was what I really wanted to do, just to thank the city of Fayetteville for your heart well, get well cards and things along that line. So thank you for that. Let us move forward to Mayor and Council, City of Fayetteville. I invite you to join me and Dr. Hewitt on May the 13th as we do another Doug in the district, in District 4. This will be our very first Doug in the district. So I'm asking those of you that hear my voice tonight to please come Wednesday, May 13th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That will be in our very own Smith Recreation Center, 1520 Slater Avenue, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Love to see you all there. It's not just for District 4 residents, which I want them to pack it out, but it's also for all the citizens within the city of Fayetteville. We love to see you. Doug in the District, May 13th, this Wednesday, at 5:30 to 7:30, and on point will be Dr. Douglas Hewitt. What?
What, a mouthful of chips?
It starts at 6:30? Okay. Then they changed it because I'm looking at 5:30 on my. I have 5:30 on what I'm reading.
It's 5:30. It's 5:30.
So put your hands down. I said, well, I've been telling everybody this time for several weeks. But thank you all. I hope you'll be there. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
All right, thank you, Dean, Councilman DJ Hare. Thank you, and certainly missed you and glad to see you back. Council, with that, we'll move to our announcements we've had and City Manager's report. Dr. Hewitt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, members of council. And thank you, Dr. Hare, for making sure I'm on time for our event on Wednesday. A few announcements, somewhat wordy tonight, but two very impactful projects. First, thanks to John McNeil, our Senior Project Manager for Traffic Services, for his efforts with a $200,000 NCDOT companion funding that was approved in the FY26 CIP. NCDOT will be able to move forward with more than $3.4 million worth of pedestrian improvements. This is roughly a 5.8% match. These projects were identified by NCDOT Highway Safety Improvement Program. Some of the projects are NC 162 Bunce Road and Bingham Drive at Mary Kirk, which is in District 6 and 7. Bunce Bingham at Bailey Lake and Bibar, which is also in District 6 and 7. Bunce Road, Bingham at Lake Ridge, 6 and 7. Skybo at Richwood Court in District 7. Rose Hill at Ramsey Street, District 2. Ireland Drive at Village Drive, additional fourth leg of the high visibility crosswalk, which is in District 5. And then finally, work on Hope Loop Road at Lake Rim Elementary, which is also high visibility crossings, which is in District 8. This really goes, as we have talked about upstairs and before, the staff's effort to try to work with NCDOT and other funding partners with a little bit of money from the city goes a long way when we're able to layer that in with our partners, particularly NCDOT and FAMPO. Along those same lines on transportation, the City of Fayetteville is developing a comprehensive safety action plan with funding from the federal Safe Streets for All. which is a grant focusing on making streets safer and reducing traffic crashes, serious injuries, and deaths in Fayetteville. We're asking for public participation. We'll have it on Monday, May 18th at the Bill Chris Senior Center at 5 p.m., on Tuesday, May 19th at College Lakes Recreation Center at 6 p.m., on Wednesday, the 20th at Kiwanis Recreation Center at 6 p.m., Wednesday, the 27th here at City Hall at 11 a.m. Information on Safe Streets for All and those meeting times and dates is available on the city's website. And then finally, Mayor, members of council, particularly Dr. Hare and myself, who've been here for some time, it is that season where we wish some folks a happy retirement, and one of those is our own Derek Bowens has identified that he plans to retire at the end of May, and he served us faithfully for 25 years in our IT department. So if you see Derek Bowens in the near future, please take an opportunity to thank him for everything he's done. You may not know it, but we had at one time when I came in 2004, you had, Dr. Hare, about 5 or 6 people in our IT department that was running the entire city? He was one of them. And along with Uli and Tracy Howard Glover, can't remember the other lady's name, but please congratulate Derek on a job well done and for faithful service to the city.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hewitt. Certainly, we do appreciate Mr. Bowen, his service to the city and to the community, and all of you who do that. And I was looking for Miss Alex. I think she tipped out somewhere, but another person from our corporate comms who husband received orders to deploy, so we're going to miss her. Come on in here. So let's give her a round of applause. Y'all have seen this smiling face, taking our pictures and making sure that that the city's outward-facing information is communicated to the citizens. So we thank you for your service, along with Mr. Bowen and so many others of the team that makes up the city of Fayetteville. Thank you, Dr. Hewitt. All right, with that, council, we'll move to approval of the agenda. If we can have a motion to approve using our sure systems. Motion by Councilmember Jones. Is there a second? Seconded by Davis. Any discussion? All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes to approve the agenda. All right, who we missing? Mayor Pro Tem, what you doing over there?
I touched mine. Mine didn't work.
All right, we'll count him in. We see him now. All right. All right, motion carries. Council, as we move to the consent items, there was some discussion upstairs. I know Councilman Jones had 7.082. Did you still want to separate that? Want to pull that? All right. There was also mentioned that although 7.084 and 5, and I'm sorry, 084 and 6 were NCDOT. It was going to be just added to the record that there will be some further discussion about how we improve our municipal agreements to include wider sidewalks when we have an opportunity and some of the enhanced services. So upon the approval of that, can you mention that? So I'll go to you, Councilmember Jones, or Councilmember Green. You had your light on? You had one?
Well, I was just going to pull 7.085.
Okay, all right.
Discussed.
So I'll go to, all right. So we'll get a motion to approve, Councilmember Green, with the exception of 7.085 and
7.082.
okay. All right, and seconded by Jones. All right, discussion. All right, council, I'll look to you for your vote. Who are we missing, Madam Clerk?
Yourself, sir?
No, I pressed my button.
Got to press the card.
I see. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Motion carries unanimous. All right. So, Council 7.082, Councilwoman Jones, you wanted to give us some insight on it?
Yes, sir. Very quickly. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to pull this particular item just so that the community would be aware of what's going on. There was some slight confusion, so I wanted to just provide some context. There was, back in 2022, there was an effort to put the Bright Air neighborhood on the National Register for historic areas with Miss Cynthia Leaks and former ACM Telly Whitfield helped us eliminate that bottleneck so that we can get that through. It's a 3-year or so process. So now in June, we will be, that particular, Bridale will be going before the board to have that nomination to receive this historic designation. So what's going forward now, what we have before us is an extension of that historic designation to include College Heights and Seabrook Hills, which I share part of that area with DJ Hare. So I just wanted to bring some context and let the community know that those were two separate things. So the one for Bridale community, that will, and my hands are crossed, that they will get approved in June for that. And this is just an extension because we felt it was important to expand to our other historically significant neighborhoods.
All right, so did you want to do this up or down vote?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion?
I move to receive the authorization to apply for the FYI 2026 Historic Preservation Fund grant for College Heights and Seabrook Hills community.
So this is a motion to authorize them to, our staff, the city to apply.
Yes.
All right, there's a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Hare. Discussion. All right, council, I'll look to you for your votes. Make sure I press this button right so nobody will call me out. Let's see. Who are we missing now, Madam Clerk?
No one, sir.
All right. All right.
Thanks,
Motion
sir.
carries. All right. Councilmember Green, I'm sorry. 7.085.
Yes, thank you, sir. If I could get ACM Yates just to answer a few questions. I pulled this just so we could have this conversation out loud. I've been fairly critical about the slowness of the project at the Market Square, just because we seem to have approved it a long time ago before my time on the council, and we are still working through it with a completion date projected for the end of this year. I am very hopeful that that is going to happen. We have had some sewer stormwater, thank you, stormwater issues come up, and we're going to correct those as we move forward. This request is literally to just move money around, but could you explain that just to the public, because it involves reallocation of $401,980.
Yes, ma'am, I'll be happy to. If you remember, the council had approved design plans at the Market House. When we did the community work, what came out was accessibility to the facility and to the Market House. So this is to allow the street hardscape improvements around the Market House, as well as some accessibility and the stormwater improvements around it. As the public has seen, we've closed off at different times of the road to do structural repairs to the building, the roof, things that needed to fix the building envelope so there was no water intrusion, those kinds of things. We have the kiosks are here, they're going to be installed shortly, and all those different things. So this is the hardscape around based on the input from the residents and the downtown folks as to what they wanted to see that allowed people to move to and from the Market House easier, as well as improve traffic around there.
Right, thank you. I know that part of it was also a function issue, and I know the mayor brought it upstairs that the original discussions centered around what the function of the Market House was going to be, not the functionality, but what would be located there. So.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Councilmember Green. So, as mentioned before, when the Market House was an issue in 2020, DOJ came in and working with them and other community stakeholders, we led citywide conversations for several weeks and months about how our community would move forward. And what came out of that was a discussion, kind of a compromise position to say that if it's preserved, that it should tell the story about what's behind it and educate the community. There were cases that were brought up, like about Mr. Archie Beebe and other cases. And so the legislator gave $1.5 million to the restoration toward that effort. Also some money for a historical trail that we lobbied to get. Want to know kind of where, and I know you may not have figures as we talked about upstairs, but would like to know how much of the state's money toward this effort has been spent. Mr. Gibson's over there who just snuck in here from work. I want him to talk about these screens and what the purpose of that is, because we made commitments to the community about the outcome will be. And so, like she said, it's, here we fast forward 5 years, 6 years because of various reasons. We do want to make sure that the end product is what the promises were to the community. So, Mr. Gibson, come on, tell us about these
Mayor,
screens.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh,
I'd
going to talk about it?
Yes, sir. I'd also invite Michael and Byron as well. You're all correct, and there are multiple phases to this project. The first phase of the project that Michael can talk about in addition to the kiosk was really the unexpected and significant repair we had to do to the clock tower and the roof. We also had the lighting project, which has now been installed, and Byron can share information about the pedestrian improvements as well as the stormwater improvements, which were significant in design time, which I think led to part to Councilmember Green's concern about the timing. We also made strategic decisions about making sure that when we redo the pavement, we do it once, and we do that as part of the overall improvements which are there. But Michael, to the mayor's question about the kiosk, but also, and I don't know if you came prepared to talk about the dollar value of the actual structural repairs that we had to make. But Byron, if you from memory, know the general about the stormwater and the pedestrian improvements as well.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. The first part of the project was just making sure that the Market House was a sound structure. And that's what the state gave us funding for historical preservation. Once you started digging into the Market House, changing the clocks, making sure that the steeple, and when we started digging into it, there was some significant rotten wood. The structure was basically sound, but I don't know how much more she could have taken. So we had to redo everything to the historical preservation, and we believe you have a very nice facility now. The uplighting, when you're driving up to it, we can change the lights to any color with LEDs, as what council prefers throughout the seasons. So that was done, and the structure is sound now. One of the things with the kiosks, what they'll be able to do with the 55-inch screens that'll be available, that'll tell the story from a stance of what happened to the history in Fayetteville. We believe that we have some stories throughout our historian. We want to sit down to make sure that flow of information, because these kiosks will have Wi-Fi so that we can change that story consistently over the course of what the history of Fayetteville was, and whatever that information is. So we believe from a structural standpoint, an information standpoint, just the history of the Market House, we believe we've captured that and preserved the facility.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gibson, Council, any other questions? Who? Oh, yeah.
Byron's going to tell you the
Reese,
second
give us
part
a
of the
stormwater
project.
update.
Yeah, so kind of the scope of the project for the pedestrian improvements, if you think about down at the Market House, where you have the Black Lives Do Matter striping down there, essentially we will be expanding the brick footprint into that lane. You'll also have pedestrian improvements at all four approaches, so the Hay Street, Green Street, Person Street, and Gillespie Street approaches. We'll have pedestrian islands. We'll have 2 crosswalks to the Market House, one from the Hay Street approach, which will go to an ADA compliant ramp so that you can actually, someone that's wheelchair bound can actually get up to the Market House. Right now, the only way for somebody on a wheelchair to get to the Market House is to go through traffic, essentially with no crosswalks or anything. So we'll have some pedestrian improvements on all 4 approaches, high-vis crosswalks. We'll also have the 2 crosswalks going to the Market House will actually be the brick paved sidewalk or brick paved crosswalks to kind of keep that historic feel. When it comes to the stormwater improvements, if you ride around the Market House now, there's one catch basin on the inside next to the Market House. So as you expand that brick footprint, we do have to put some additional inlets around the Market House so that we're not pooling water there. So that's where some of the funding that's been moved for stormwater, and then we're going to pave it all when we're done. Just to speak to the timeline as well, we had to get approval from the State Historic Preservation Office, as well as we had to go through the city's HRC. So we submitted to the State Historic Preservation Office back in November. We didn't receive approval until January. So that kind of caused about a 3-month delay just getting the approvals from the State Historic Preservation Office and then the city's Historic Resource Commission. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Reeves, when do you anticipate the completion of that?
We will try to be done before Dickens holiday.
Okay, all right, thank you. Councilmember McMillan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to acknowledge maybe people watching, listening now who are part of the compromise the mayor spoke of. Want to acknowledge that there were a lot of people who did not want the Market House to stand, period. Was outside with hundreds of other people outside of City Hall in 2020 when three local pastors came in and really talked to the council about taking the marketplace down. They talked about its ties to systemic injustice, talk about it being a vestige of chattel slavery, and in commitment to those who still view that marketplace as a symbol of systemic justice. There are still interested citizens who want to make sure that the story of all of Fayetteville, and especially connections to the work we need to continue to do towards liberation and eradication of systemic injustice, continues. Which brings me to a question around how those people and all citizens in Fayetteville can have input into what's on the kiosks, what symbols, what words especially are represented there. And wanted to ask Dr. Hewitt if there are ways or things that we can talk to the residents about, our constituents about, ways that they can have input into what symbols and words are displayed.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. Hearkening back again to that time, we actually, one of the proud moments I have as the manager was when the council received a report. And Mayor, what do we have? Maybe 30 respondents from a survey, and the council members said that's not enough. And they sent us back out, and I think we received, was it several hundred, almost 600 responses. And I think that tracks very well to what you're saying about the interest of this overall issue, whether it was to keep it up, take it down, or whatever else. But that approach that we used, that was headed by Yamil Nazar, Human Relations Commission, and a broader coalition of people in the community. With the council's approval, I'd like to re-engage that group and have them come up with a work plan, so to speak, about how we come up with, how we roll that out, how we invite those conversations. There was a local historical group that was also they weren't for or against one way about the use of the Market House, but they were very instrumental in making sure that we had a historical context to whatever we said. So they wanted for us to stay true to history. And unless I hear differently, Mayor, members of council, we'd like to re-engage Yamil Nazar and have her prepare a report that tells us how we might be able to do just that, to make sure, as we've often said, telling the accurate and sensitive but accurate story of the Market House and that and the use and prior uses of the building, if that's acceptable to the council.
Yeah, that sounds good. And so, council, I'll go back to Councilman Green here in a second to kind of wrap this and move this up. But since we're revisiting history, we need to talk about. There was a lot of leadership from the community shown during this difficult time. You know, it was meetings with multiple pastors. There were some that came here vocally, but there was a meeting between at least 10 to 15 white pastors and 10 to 15 black pastors who came in and said that how do we keep our community on one accord with that? And so there's a lot of people to be thanked, but that was the genesis behind all this, because a lot of people invested time and their word and goodwill into making sure that it is what we believed it can be. So I'm hearing from the council through this discussion that you'll bring human relations back to the conversation, that there'll be more discussion with council about how the program works to me, because history's history. So it's a matter of writing it accurately. So maybe there'll be someone other than the city that's engaged, whether it's our universities or some of the other folks. But the community stepped up good the last time. I'm sure they'll do a great job this time. So look forward to it. Councilmember Green, I'll go to you for a motion.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the award and authorize the city manager to execute a contract for the Market Square Pedestrian Improvement Project in the amount of $648,519.20 to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Morgan Trucking and General Construction, and approve CPOA 2020-1, 2022-19, 2022-21, and 2023-2 to reallocate funds in the amount of $401,980 to cover the project cost.
There's a mouthful, but motion by Councilmember Green and seconded by Davis. Did I see you on there? All right, discussion. All right, Council, I'll look to you for your votes. All right, motion carries. All right, Council, moving to the 8-point section, reports from boards and commissions. We received the Linear Park report. We have Dr. Wayne Riggins here, president of the Linear Park Corporation. Dr. Riggins, good evening.
Good evening. I don't really like getting briefed by people who I don't know. So,
Yes, sir, I got to go to the clerk.
I just brought a CV because my entire career has been public service, to include my medical career. I don't know a good many of you on the council, but I've known Doug, I've known Michael for a pretty long time. The bottom line for the question at hand tonight for the council is to expand the purview of the linear park to include the Central City Park Trail. If you look,
speaking to the man.
If you look at the brief material, you'll see that the Central City Park Trail is a significant expansion in the concept of linear park. I don't know that any of you knew Harry Shaw. I know Doug did, but not very many people knew Harry Shaw. About 30 years, and Dr. Hare. About 30 years ago, Harry collected a group of friends, and they devised the idea you'd create a public-private partnership to create a 4-mile stretch of trail through parkland that was near and dear to his heart, having grown up here in Fayetteville. And he did yeoman's work there. It was a novel concept. Public-private partnership. Before they could complete that project, Harry came to me and told me he was dying and asked that I would take over the project. Not on my radar at the time, to be honest, but probably because he knew I lacked judgment, I would do it. And so I agreed to take over that project, and then about 7 years later, here in the end of 2025, we got that project completed. But also because he knew that in that time, I had been speaking about the fact that Fayetteville underrepresented its green space, particularly in the urban and peri-urban environment. For those who you don't know, Councilman Hare remembers back in the day when we wrote infill ordinance, when we wrote demolition by neglect. A lot of that stuff was written in my kitchen. I did a lot of work on urban and peri-urban revitalization, and then later transitioned really to social justice and civil rights work. But in this particular case, I had done an inventory of all the peri-urban green space downtown, and it's very woefully underrepresented, and it's not part of the Fayetteville brand. But if you look at Masrick Park and Festival Park and Rowan Park, all of those really should be connected by signs and pathways so that you can market that as sort of the softer side of Sears, right? The idea about how you market a city as a first-tier city is, especially to young residents, especially to folks that you want to attract, is to market the connectivity of your green space. And so we had all of this really wonderful green space, but you could bet that 100,000 people go up and down Bragg Boulevard every day. And until Michael started doing the tennis center and the senior center, most of them didn't know that Masaryk Park was a 9-iron off Bragg Boulevard. Most of them can tell you how to get from that place to the dog park or the botanical park. So what I'd been talking to Harry about for a long time, I started talking with Tony Schiavone many years ago, was that we needed an incentive to do that. So when he asked me to take it over, it was with the caveat that Linear Park would die on the vine if it was just a park in the middle of the woods with a trail in it. And so we cobbled together the consultants and the money and the plan. And so what you see now is sort of the skeleton, it's sort of the exoskeleton for how you connect the green space. That's back when Dr. Anderson was at FSU and I was on the board. And I talked to him about the fact that students need to know that they can get on a bike or get on a skateboard or go for a run and go to all of those places, and it needs to be marketable. So that's where we've moved now. So I honored my pledge to Harry, but what I think we should do is employ the purview of the same corporation to oversee the rest of that project. The value of that is citizenry being engaged sort of keeps government moving. Councilman Green mentioned that government moves at a ponderous pace. It truly drives me crazy because in private business we could never do that. But the reason I've stayed engaged is because I believe that this is a meaningful, impactful change in the way that people see Fayetteville. And just so you know, when you look at the signage, I'm not going to go through that briefing, y'all can read. If you put a QR code on those signs, and that's a plan, somebody can flash that sign and it says, "You are here," and they can figure out how to get to the dog park. And that's a game changer for Fayetteville. And it's low-hanging fruit, and it's dollar investment, low money. And so that's basically the concept. But if I drop dead tomorrow, it won't happen. And so the reason we want to expand the purview is I feel like we need a small group to continue the investment in that because I think it's meaningful and important. So that's the bottom line ask.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Reagan. So,
Okay.
Michael, going back, trying to go out by memory a little bit. A few years back when the legislature was been a little generous, because they were generous up the hill, so they gave us some money for trails. And where are we with that? Is this in collaboration with some of the funding? How Dr. Riggins, what's your proposal on the signage that's enclosed in here?
So just so you know, it's paid for. So you know that I like to do policy work and I don't like publicity, and I don't even like doing this. But the idea was to not bring anything to y'all where I had to ask for money. It's basically paid for, right? Yes. Yeah, okay. So all you have to do is say yes.
So crosswalks, all of that?
Everything is paid for. We just have to get it done. You have a paint by numbers plan. It's basically literally paint by numbers. So now what I'm doing is I've cut back my office hours, so I go meet with his staff and say, all right, where are we going to put in the crosswalk signs? You're going to begin to see them because in order to make sure it has momentum, I decided to engage it about every 2 or 3 weeks. I go meet at Parks and Rec. I don't think that there's any money asked until you get down to the river trail. Is that about right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some money, but that's a different pot of money.
But yeah. So where I was going with him, there was some.
Am I done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good job, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
job,
So, Mike, what happened? Didn't the legislature give us some money for some trail?
Yep, African American Heritage Trail and the signage to get everybody around. I don't know if and probably some of the council members weren't on here when we had all the signs in this room that the council approved with the Fayetteville State, the markers. One of the things that we're working on now is getting the thermoplast crosswalks on Murchison Road and some of the other places just to get people around, but that's the funding that we're using. the new signage that you see all around that we approved in here. So yeah, that's the same funding.
Okay, all right. So,
But it goes all the way from Methodist all the way through to Fayetteville Tech, Fayetteville State, gets you into the downtown area and some of the trails that we haven't done yet.
all right, and so the work you're doing with that, is there some collaboration with these proposals that Dr. Riggins has?
Definitely.
Just to make sure that we don't have two disjointed systems, because people can't tell if one was private paid for and one came from city led.
We've worked on this, hip to hip for the entire 7 years.
Gotcha.
They
Okay.
haven't done anything that was a surprise. In fact, basically, we did it together and just kept it under the radar
All right.
to make sure it was paid for. Everything that was done
Talking
there,
to the mic, Dr. Riggins. You got
everything that was done there was done in collaboration, and everything was done with consultants, and it was sent through you guys with no names attached to it, so you got to say what you think. My job was to just make sure that I kept pushing the train.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So, council, proposal before us is to receive the report, and give expanded guidance for. This looks great. This does theme and kind of bring out some placemaking, which is what we were trying to do. In the QR code. All right. So I think he's looking for some guidance tonight on where we are with this. Well, you had two options. You had to receive the report and to you had to receive the report and provide additional guidance. So I think he's looking for the additional guidance.
Okay.
Dr. Reagan, you looking for additional guidance, or you just want us to receive this?
What we want is what we're asking is that the Linear Park Corporation be allowed, because it allows us within the...
His mic's not on, Jim.
It allows us within the founding documents to have an expanded purview. We just wanted you guys to say it's okay for us to go ahead and expand into the Central City Park Trail. Otherwise, what happens is that committee still just does that 4 miles, and what you really need is this whole expanded concept.
So the bylaws of the committee, have you sent this back for us to proof it up? How do
It
we
all
make
got
this change?
staffed through city attorney. City attorney said it's within the purview of the committee already. The reason we did it is to ask for you guys to give us official permission to go ahead and do what they said we could do, was so that politically it wouldn't be messy if somebody said, well, what the hell are they doing?
Gotcha.
Okay, I got you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
prepared to make a motion then. Well, Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the report from the Linear Park Corporation and expand their boundaries so they can cover the entire city with their parks trails using the QR code that was mentioned.
All right, so motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilman Harris. Dr. Reagan, only addition I would say, we have myself and many council members this go around have been intentional to make sure that West Fayetteville is included in any of these initiatives. We know that this was the core of the city, but now the city is this. So is there a plan to make sure that something comparable is happening in the western part of the city?
Well, to be honest, that was not in my brain case on this because I was trying to build an exoskeleton. This took a lot of work.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
I really, behind the scenes, Doug got emails. I'm sure he didn't want to get. Michael got tired of seeing me. But the deal is when you're trying to do something under the radar, just keep it together with everybody having an agenda. Yeah. Would I think that this is exactly what you should do everywhere where you have connected green space in this city? Absolutely. But, your template starts somewhere. Once you do it here, if you want to do it in West Fayetteville, I totally agree. Whether or not it would be under the purview of this particular committee, because all these trails are connected, the maintenance would be connected, the
Right.
thoroughfare would be connected, the crosswalks would be, the signage is connected.
So basically, West Fayetteville would need its own
I think
system.
you could execute the same concept, and I think it's a great idea. It just
I got you.
wasn't in my bandwidth.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. There's a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilman Hare. Discussion. All right, Council, look to you for action. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Riggins. All right, Council 8.02 is Fayetteville Metropolitan Housing Authority Annual Report. How you doing? You've been with us all day.
I know. Can't get rid of me.
How you doing?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. They're pulling up a...
And speak in your mic for me so the folks watching can hear you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I'm kind of loud, so if I yell. While this is being pulled up, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to come here. I'm here to represent the Fayetteville Metropolitan Housing Authority and Don Weeks, our Executive Director, who is not able to be with us today. I'm Crystal DePietro, the Assistant Executive Director, and we have several of our board members and our chair and vice chair here with us to try to fill the gap for Dawn when she could not be here. With that said, I'll get started. In the report provided, I have just put up one slide for you just to give some data. The report provided to you went into details of some of our projects and the work that we've been doing, our goals and where we are going. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No. Yeah.
In case you didn't get a chance to see it, I am passing around. She's passing around the flyer for you to have. Our community, in the Housing Authority, we are serving over 2,800 households with more than 6,700 residents within our units, and that's between our public housing and our voucher programs. We are dedicated to ensuring that these programs are sufficient to our tenants and to our residents in the community. In both of our programs, more than 80%, 72%, 80%, 86% have income in their home. So our individuals are striving to make a difference and become self-sufficient, and that is our goal, to link them with resources and ensure that they are getting their needs met while becoming more supportive in our own community. We have administered over 2,000 housing vouchers in our community, meaning that in that program, 2,000 leased housing, public housing from landlords, private landlords, are being rented through our voucher program, giving our residents the opportunity to be spread across our community and within each district and not isolated into one spot. Our over 800 units throughout our community are also spread across the community and not isolated in one spot. That was done through our Hope 6 program, our Groveview Terrace program, now Campbell Terrace, and over 800, within that, over 823 public housing units that are mixed in to different areas. And we want to continue, we're working to continue to do that with the 84 units that we have partnered with the city for Central Park Terrace, where we will be providing additional 84 available units, as well as the CNI project, the Choice Neighborhood Project, where we are working to, with the city and other developers, to bring in an additional 323 units. Our program alone, between our voucher program and our public housing, we have over 1,500 families on our wait list. So we recognize the need, and we are wanting and working strategically to make sure that we, with the city and private developers, that we are working to bring those affordable units into our community for those that are waiting to try to have housing across Fayetteville, the city, and the county. We recognize that most of our units are over 60 years old, and we are strategically working to a plan so that we can either rehab or build new in certain areas, so that our tenants are getting the same services within that all tenants in our community are getting. Our first project right now that we are working on is in partnership with a loan that we received from the city recently to rehab 32 units for our elderly at Hillside Manor. I would like to give great thanks to the city and to your Economic and Community Development Department, who strategically works with us on a regular basis. Chris Colley truly takes the time to listen to our ideas and our needs and tries to help find a way for us to navigate through that. I know there was a lot of information in your packets in regards to our goals and what's coming next. So with that, with the information I've provided, I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, I do have a couple of them. First, did Chris pay you to say that?
He did not.
Okay.
Is he in the room? I hope so.
All right.
Alex has my money too.
Okay.
His team is amazing. His team is amazing.
Trying to see about that. All right. Did have one question before I go to Councilman Hare. It's been an ongoing problem for the number of people with vouchers and the number of available units, or on the waiting list. Let me say the waiting list. How often does HUD reanalyze that? Because it seems that we've had that 2,000 number at least for some time, if I can recall right, and populations grow, more people move in, and then people are able to take those vouchers to other communities. So how often does the government reassess your need?
Well, that's a good question, and I haven't seen that happen in quite a while, mostly because funding and what's available across the board and the different programs and projects that they are funding over additional vouchers. I will say that we did receive an additional 5 HUD VASH vouchers for our veterans, which puts us over 250 specifically for our veterans. So
is that included in your 2,000?
That is included in my 2,000. We have 248 currently, and the numbers that are on the flyer are for those that are actually housed in those programs.
Gotcha. Okay. Councilman Hare.
Thank you. Is it Crystal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Crystal, thank you. Very familiar with your system here, and I talked to a lot of rental companies that are not listed on your list that are open and have been accepted to do business with the Fayetteville Housing Authority, especially when folks have their vouchers. The question that I received probably maybe a week or two ago was the difficulty. Is the only way to make the Housing Authority aware of availability with others outside of that's on this list is how?
So just to clarify, the what's on our list are where our public housing is at,
Yes,
not
ma'am,
our Section 8 voucher qualified landlords. We have a list on our website that tenants can look there. Natanya Hassel is our Section 8, our leased housing director, who keeps that updated and works directly with our landlords and does orientation for new landlords that are interested in becoming Section 8 voucher landlords.
And if I wanted to share this information with those that may be interested, tell me what that website is, because I'm looking for it on your.
Yes, sir.
How does it read?
It is www.fmhanc.org.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You.
All right, thank you. Council, look to you for a motion to receive a report from Fayetteville Metropolitan Housing. Unless you have other questions.
So move to receive, sir.
All right, it's motion by Councilman Harris, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem. Discussion. All right, look to you for your votes. Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, tell Ms. Dawn we said hello.
Absolutely.
All right, Council, moving to 8.03. Report from Dr. Hatch back there. How are you, sir? Chairman of Fayetteville County Parks and Rec Advisory. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is Tom Hatch, and I am proud to serve on the Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission as chair this year. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a brief update on our work. The commission remains focused on three primary goals. First, we advise Parks and Recreation Director on programming to ensure offerings meet the needs and interests of our community. Second, we provide input on capital improvements to help guide thoughtful strategic investments in our facilities. And third, we review and offer feedback on the master plan for the Parks and Recreation to ensure long-term planning aligns with the growth and vision of Fayetteville and Cumberland County. So over the past year, our work has centered on several key action items. We have continued to serve as a sounding board for new ideas and initiatives while also strengthening communication between the commission and local government leaders and Parks and Recreation staff. I'm pleased to share a few highlights of our accomplishments. The commission approved a request to rename the North Street baseball field in honor of Coach Donald Bennett, recognizing his lasting impact on our community. We also had the opportunity to participate in a first look at the new courts at Glenville Lake and groundbreaking ceremony at the MacArthur Road Sports Complex, which were very exciting milestones. Additionally, we expanded our meeting structure to include dedicated time for updates from our city council and county commission representatives, improving alignment, communication. Jennifer Ayer and also Councilmember Jones were instrumental in helping provide valuable insight into the purpose and responsibilities of this advisory commission, helping to strengthen our effectiveness moving forward. Looking ahead, we have several activities and initiatives currently in progress and excited about the upcoming grand opening of the courts at Glenville Lake. Fingers crossed this is going to be happening soon. We know with everything outside, it's all contingent on weather and temperature and getting stuff done. Of course, spring sports are successfully underway with strong participation across programs. In addition, construction is ongoing for the Tokay tennis and pickleball courts, which will further expand recreational opportunities in our community. As we continue to work, there are areas that will require ongoing attention, and these include ensuring equitable access to parks and programs across all areas of the city, keeping pace, and not only city, but also the county as well, keeping pace with growth and demand for recreational space and maintaining existing facilities at a high standard while new projects are being developed. Now, based on our discussions in keeping with the 2020 master plan, the commission would like to offer one key recommendation to the council: that the city continue moving toward the development of an indoor aquatics center. Just going to let that sit for a minute.
I think their meeting is Thursday.
I understand. This type of facility would provide year-round recreational opportunities, support health and wellness, and serve as a valuable asset for residents of all ages. In closing, the Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission remains committed to supporting a strong, accessible, and forward-looking parks and recreation system. We appreciate your continued support and partnership, and at this time, I respectfully ask the council that you accept this report. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate the hard work you and committee members are doing. We do have several questions. So go to go to Councilmember Hare, Pro Tem Jones, and Councilmember McNair. I thought I saw her. Okay, so I'll come back to her.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chairman Hatch, for the great work. That's one thing that we have been looking for, and we've heard it well tonight and over the last few months from our committees and boards of being totally involved with our city and being our boots on the ground for council. I don't know if this goes directly to you or if this goes to our interim and our director, if he would come up. I sent a few questions out. I don't know if they will forward to you. And just for updates, and if there are none, just wanted to make sure, I wanted to keep it in your heart to give us those. I would like to, and I didn't see it today, but it's understandable, love to get some updates on the MLK Park, the walking trail at Glenville Lake, where we are with that. Love to get an update on our Seabrook Park or walking trail that's supposed to have been, I'm not sure, well, need updates so we can just know where we are. And one additional thing, as I look around and I see the identification signs, I see several of them up and down the Merchant Road corridor and various locations of the city. I was wondering if any of those signs had anything to do with the proposed signs for the Glenville Lake Trail that we spoke about during our meetings and even during our work sessions when you have given us reports.
Councilman Harris, let me ask one thing real quick. Does the advisory board was those projects that the advisory board has within their purview? Because I don't want to have pull Dr. Hatch into something that he's not.
No, I was asking Dr.
I know, but this item is, we got to get him approved and released, but.
No, sir.
Okay. All right.
So am I going too far with this
yeah,
tonight?
it's the wrong venue for that because he's here to present with the things that.
Okay, and I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. I was just wondering why it wasn't there. But nevertheless, it's already been dropped. So I'll be looking for those updates. But thank you, Dr. Hatch.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
You can jack Michael up on a separate one.
Get him here on time.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chairman Hatch, how do you hear from the constituents to advise on the committee?
Well, our committee is made up of folks from the county and from the city. And so as we are in the community, whether we are at work or at play or at church or standing in the grocery store or we are out supporting various events, we're talking and hearing from them and their thoughts and concerns with regard to what they think should be happening. And we bring that back in and we share those out loud with one another in our meetings.
And the board consists of how many people?
There are 14.
And how many from the county?
7 from the county.
And 7 from the city.
7, yes. 8 and 8, sorry. 8 from the county, 8 from the city, so 16.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
All right. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you. Just a statement. Thank you so much, sir. Just first, thank you all for welcoming me to the board. I like the thoughtfulness that's occurring on the commission. I do like that. So to kind of piggyback off Mayor Pro Tem, that's one of the things that we do highly encourage as far as ensuring that the committee members feel valued and that their input and time on the board is appreciated. So I openly say that. I know we all do, to say we appreciate the time and the openness, and I think there are some opportunities, again, to go within that scope, which thank you, Ms. Jennifer, for coming to support the commission at that particular time. But I look forward to that because there are some meaningful engagement that's there and some things that are coming forth that for both sides, county and city, can consider. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Council, if there are no other questions, if we can receive the report. So, Chairman Hatch. McNair, you had a question?
No, receiving the report.
All right, go ahead. All right, it's a motion by Councilmember McNair. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for such a fine report there. With that being said, I would like to make a motion to receive the Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recs Advisory Commission Annual Report.
All right, the motion by Councilmember McNair. Is that second by Ferguson? All right. Discussion? Council, I'll look to you for your votes. All right, Mr. Hatch, thank you. Yes, sir. All right, Council, moving to item 8.04 is the Firefighter Local Relief Fund Annual Update. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Let's get your mic. There you go. All right, there it is.
That better? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jason Davis, Battalion Chief for the Fire Department, and I serve as the chair of the Fayetteville Fire Department Local Firefighters Relief Fund Board. Just for some history, the Firefighters Relief Fund was created through legislative action in 1907 to ensure firefighters that were injured on the job would not become destitute. Funds for the Firefighters Relief Fund come from a tax levied on insurance policies in North Carolina. Then each county in the state receives a portion, which is then divided between the eligible departments there. These funds are designated to be used only for purposes specified in law. Using these monies for non-approved purposes jeopardizes eligibility for future disbursements. Over time, some changes to general statute have allowed the local firefighters relief funds to use funds for other purposes. Our local relief fund is managed by a board consisting of 5 people. Statute dictates that 2 of the seats are elected by the fire department members from eligible personnel, 2 are appointed by city council, and 1 by the state fire marshal. Currently, we oversee a supplemental retirement plan as part of this that provides a yearly stipend to retirees. Any firefighter that retires in good standing with at least 20 years of service is eligible. Each year of service equates to 1 share, with the value of the share based on funds received in that year. There were 144 retirees that received a payment in February 2026. Besides the retirement fund, the board also receives occasional requests from active personnel that need financial assistance for various reasons. Some requests are allowed automatically with board approval, while others that fall within certain criteria must be approved by designated personnel with the North Carolina State Firefighters Association. Some examples of allowed expenses are costs incurred to manage the fund. Firefighter membership dues with the State Firefighters Association are also approved with permission. The board is required to submit financial reports by the end of October annually to the State Firefighters Association to maintain eligibility. This ensures a layer of oversight that protects the board and provides accountability to an outside party. As part of this process, the State Firefighters Association maintains a surety bond that ensures the funds as a whole. Currently, the board holds some funds in some checking and money market accounts, while the bulk is held in interest-generating investments that keep the retirement fund solvent. As of this submission, there is $12,999.99 in a checking, $5,303.06 in money market accounts with Truist, and $1,519,998 invested in funds with Woodman Insurance. The current and retired members of the fire department appreciate the city's and council's roles with this board and look forward to your continued support.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilmember Hondros.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on one of their meetings. They
Yes, sir.
have very thorough and accurate reports. And with that, if there's no questions, I'd like to move to receive the report.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
All right, so I got a motion and a second. I got a motion by Councilman Hondros, second by Davis. Discussion, Councilman Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. Can you just explain the criteria for receiving these funds? As you stated, you said some requests are allowed automatically by the board, while others fall within certain criteria. Explain that criteria and the dollar amount, if there is any.
There's not a dollar amount associated with it. The criteria is set in statute, and there's certain things that we at the local level with the board can automatically approve, and then it's done. Basically, a firefighter, if they were injured as part of the job and they need some financial assistance, they can make a request and we can pay that out.
So you're getting to my point. So it would have to occur with something on the job. You mentioned something about hardship. What if the family's just going through hardship? Would that apply?
If there is some type of hardship, they can make a request. We can consider it, and we have to send that type of request up to the State Firefighter Association. There's people that sit there that would review it and would give a yes or a no.
And these dollar figures you're talking about are statewide, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what is the annual that Fayetteville receives?
It varies from year to year. Last year it was around $270,000.
And that's what's held in the Truist Bank?
The money that we take in every year from the state, we divvy that up as part of the retirement shares.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Chief, I just have one question. So not the complicated, this is completely different, but we do a lot of business with Truist. I wonder, do they appreciate that? So how do you determine where you hold those funds at?
Truist Bank, we hold them there. We know that's where the city banks, and it is easy to keep the funds there.
Where does Truist know that?
I'm sure they do.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, well, they're going to hear it a lot. All right. There's a motion by Councilman Hondros, and a second by Davis. Discussion. Council, look to you for your vote. So thank you for your good work.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All All right, motion carries. All right, council, moving to 9.01. Mr. Lowry, Mr. Brayboy, showtime. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor. Might work if I started. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. I'm Chris Lowry, the Strategy and Performance Manager for the city. Presenting with me tonight is Mr. Andrew Brayboy. He's our Senior Corporate Performance Analyst. Tonight we'll be presenting on the third quarter performance updates for your FY26 strategic plan. So this update will reflect continued progress across Council's strategic priorities and highlight how departments are translating strategy into measurable outcomes throughout our community. As a reminder, the data presented tonight includes a mix of our quarterly activity, year-to-date totals, as well as some data from our scorecard. Many of these measures you see will be lagging indicators, meaning they reflect completed activity from prior actions rather than real-time demands or any of our future pipeline activities that will be coming out. Some measures also are heavily influenced by broader economic conditions, resident participation, and market activity. Because of that, staff continues to monitor our trends closely and making proactive adjustments where needed as we move forward into the final quarter of our FY26 plan.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem. So as we approach the final stretch of the fiscal year, 4 of our 5 current strategic plan priorities continue to build on the foundation that we set in our FY25 strategic plan. So this includes our ongoing commitment to a comprehensive approach to community safety, enhance economic growth throughout the city, continue the city's commitment to revitalization efforts and housing needs. Our newest priority, of course, is to evaluate and expand transportation and other connectivity for residents. And then finally, increase parks and recreation opportunities for youth engagement and interaction. So our first priority is our comprehensive community safety. And priority 1 continues to deliver measurable results in prevention, response, and community collaboration. With 3 quarters already completed in FY26, the majority of the comprehensive safety metrics are either at or ahead of pace. The Fayetteville Cares Day Resource Center recorded 233 unique interactions in Q3, bringing our year-to-date total to 1,084 unique interactions, already 90% of our annual target. The center now operates with 49 active community partners, well above our annual target. This reflects continued growth in the city services network. Total interactions at the center reached 8,117 year-to-date. And while this remains slightly behind our pace, the volume is expected to climb in Q4 as our hot weather increases our service demand. For OCS, they continue to strengthen partnerships and outreach across all 3 of its core areas. For community safety microgrants, in Q3, OCS awarded 22 new community safety microgrants representing $115,000 invested directly into our community. Year to date, 42 grants totaling $199,500 have been awarded, placing the program at nearly 100% of its annual funding target, with a full quarter remaining. For behavioral health services through OCS, an additional 72 individuals successfully accessed mental health services through OCS in Q3. This is our strongest quarter to date. This brings our year-to-date total to 186 individuals served against our annual target of 200, still with 1 quarter remaining. For community engagement, youth activation through OCS, OCS supported 49 community engagement events in Q3, bringing the year-to-date total to 189 events, already 51% above the annual target. And this continues to be the city's primary mechanism for maintaining a visible, preventative presence in neighborhoods, strengthening trust with residents, and proactively addressing safety concerns before they escalate to calls for service. Now, as you recall, the priority is to have a comprehensive approach to community safety. And in this regard, our response and infrastructure data continue to perform well. The fire department's 90th percentile response time came in at 7 minutes and 19 seconds in Q3, meaning our annual target of 7 minutes and 20 seconds, which also improved upon their Q2 metric. The police department's priority 1 response time improved to an average of 442 seconds, or 7 minutes and 22 seconds, which is well inside our target of 600 seconds, and the strongest performance of the fiscal year for the police department. Reported incidents of violent crime are down 18% compared to its baseline, more than double our annual target in reduction of 8%. And also the fire department.
What you say? Can you repeat that? So Mr. Pitts can catch that part.
Yeah, so it's down 18% across its baseline.
Oh my.
So the fire department's dollar loss save ratio came in at 92.17%, which is just under target. But this reflects, how value property is saved, and it fluctuates from quarter to quarter. But even with the slight reduction this quarter, the fire department remains on track with industry benchmarks. Public Services made significant Q3 progress on stormwater and drainage infrastructure. Crews inspected 31,054 stormwater assets in Q3 alone, bringing our year-to-date total to 38,066 assets, which is more than 3 times our annual target of 12,000 inspections. For open conveyances, 14,656 linear feet were repaired, maintained, and inspected in Q3. This doubled the Q2 pace. Sorry about that. But as you can see, we're still slightly behind our annual target. So collectively, these outcomes demonstrate Fayetteville's commitment to a comprehensive safety. OCS, fire, police, all working collectively to achieve a safer Fayetteville. Investing in prevention, mental health, and outreach while maintaining strong response performance and a resilient infrastructure across the city.
Under priority 2 for quarter 3 reflects continued economic development activity within investment momentum, continuing despite broader market uncertainty. During quarter 3, approximately $1.99 million was invested through ECD grants and loans, continuing investment activity throughout the city, even as one-time ARPA funding has been phased out. Quarter 3 also continued showing positive movement in several market indicators. The citywide vacancy rate continued improving, decreasing from 6.23% in quarter 1 to 5.75% in quarter 3. Commercial permitting activity also continued to increase throughout the year, growing from 35 permits in quarter 1 to 57 permits in quarter 2 and 75 in quarter 3. At the same time, staff continues to monitor lower than anticipated activity in our small business investment funding and commercial and residential permitting. These are highly market-sensitive indicators that naturally ebb and flow based on economic conditions, financial cost, and the level of risk that many business owners are willing to take. For the small business program specifically, participation requires businesses to apply for the assistance. While staff has actively marketed the programs, participation has remained lower than anticipated. Recognizing this early, staff proactively brought recommendations back to council last Monday night, if you recall, in which you took the action to broaden the program's requirements and improve the overall program effectiveness and accessibility. Commercial and residential permitting activity also remains largely market-driven and influenced by factors outside of direct departmental control. Historically, we see these trends start to increase later on in that fourth quarter, end of your third, beginning of your fourth, you start to see an increase. It is also important to remember that one permit could also be for a single apartment, or it could be for a 200-room or 200 housing unit complex. Development Services continues to review, approve, and process permits in a timely manner despite increasing workloads and staffing constraints. Plan review activity continues increasing, and Development Service has continued to maintain timely review and permitting despite the workloads. Overall, Q3 reflects continued economic investment activity, improving market indicators, and proactive operational adjustments as staff prepares for increased activity moving into Q4. Under Priority 3, Q3 reflects continued progress in neighborhood stabilization, housing assistance, and long-term revitalization efforts throughout the city. This quarter, 2 homeowners received critical or emergency repairs through the city's partnership with the Fayetteville Urban Ministry and Fayetteville Area Habitat for Humanity. Because residents must apply for assistance, activity levels are partially dependent on resident participation and partner capacity. Staff also identified that the original annual target was overstated. As you notice there, the second highlighted one, it stated that there is 50. However, that number should be 25 based on the historical reports to HUD. So I wanted to be transparent with council that that number would change. That number was either inaccurate or it was a clerical error. It should have been 25 that was reported to HUD. So that will be a change that I wanted to address here before you've seen it on the next report. Within that, operational constraints within partner agencies were identified early and have already been proactively addressed. During Q3, the city added 72 affordable housing units to the housing stock through the certificate of occupancy for Cliffmore Park. We also assisted 5 first-time homebuyers through the Homebuyer Hero program this quarter, bringing our year-to-date to 27, compared to only 9 last year at the same time. This quarter also included continued progress on larger redevelopment initiatives. Staff advanced the Merchants Choice Neighborhood Initiative by submitting the FY25 HUD application requesting $26 million, while documenting more than $531 million in committed public and private leverage. Staff also continued advancing redevelopment planning efforts through ongoing coordination with developers and legal counsel. This is a long one, so I'm trying to make sure I get through it and hit all the points. On the revitalization side, Development Services and ECD continues to coordinate stabilization efforts, prioritizing repairs over demolitions whenever possible, and protecting our general fund dollars whenever there's available funding from other sources. Approximately 8,574 violations were voluntarily corrected by property owners over the first 3 quarters, averaging more than 950 voluntary resolutions per month. This means approximately 80% or 8 out of 10 of our violations are resolved on its own or with the occupants while it was still under the notice of violation. We are also beginning to see increased utilization of demolition funding in Q3. Earlier in the fiscal year, many demolitions or corrections were done with grants and funding outside of the general fund, which helped reduce our reliance on that general fund. However, once that starts to dry up, we have to start leaning in more onto that general fund dollar. So proactive enforcement activity also continues to increase each quarter, growing from 2,140 cases in Q1 to right at 3,350 cases in Q3. Q3 also included blight removal efforts, site preparation supporting the Operation Inasmuch Veterans Village project, and ongoing historic preservation initiatives tied to the Broadell and Seabrook nomination process. Overall, Q3 reflects continued progress in stabilization, housing assistance, proactive enforcement, and long-term redevelopment positioning the city as it moves into its final quarter for FY26.
Our newest priority for this year, again, is our transportation and connectivity. And priority 4 remains a strategic area of focus for council. It aims to enhance how residents and visitors move throughout Fayetteville, whether by road, bus, connected sidewalks and trails, bikes, or by air. So beginning with transit, staff continues to implement the 3 recommendations identified in the Title VI Fare and Service Equity Study, ensuring that city's transit system remains equitable and accessible for all riders. Transit service reliably finished Q3 at 75%, meeting our annual on-time performance target, and staff continues to monitor route level performance and refine schedules as ridership patterns evolve. Regarding the percentage of routes operating at 30 minutes, frequency or better, we finished Q2 at 28%, which is slightly below our 35% target. So achieving this metric is tied to various things: fleet, staffing, route restructuring, and all those things that fall within that equity study that we're trying to address. In partnership with IT, 18 transportation and connectivity plans have now been incorporated into the city's new master connectivity GIS overlay map. So this is 80% over what we projected for our target for this year. And again, this is a GIS tool which integrates transportation, infrastructure, and development data to inform planning, project management, and future connectivity decisions for the city. Everything overlaid into one map. Public Services constructed an additional 8,379 linear feet of sidewalk in Q3 through city and private development projects, and this brings our year-to-date total to 32,044 linear feet, already exceeding the annual target. On roadway resurfacing, year-to-date totals remain at 14.69 miles against an annual target of 39. And Marcom also completed 38 communication efforts promoting transportation options in Q3, continuing to support rider awareness and engagement across digital and traditional channels. And finally, the airport team continues to explore and analyze strategies to expand flight options and enhance regional connectivity through potential public-private partnerships. And staff will continue to evaluate connectivity needs citywide with a focus on supporting future growth and making Fayetteville's transportation and connectivity network safer, more efficient, effective, and more connected for all residents. And our final priority is our youth engagement initiative. Youth engagement remains the cornerstone of our community strategy, and Q3 data shows continued strong performance across nearly every measure. The Orange Street School Project reached 2,231 total participants in Q3, with 1,003 students served directly through STEM and similar school-based initiatives. So year-to-date totals of 3,718 total participants and 1,478 STEM students served both substantially exceed our target for the year. Parks and Recreation also added 194 new hours of youth engagement programming in Q3, more than double the annual target of 75, alongside 8 new programming opportunities, brand new opportunities introduced in Q3. Grant funding pursuing also remains strong, with 30,000 in granting opportunities applied for in Q3, which brings the year-to-date grant applications to 50,000, exceeding our annual projection. Across the city's flagship youth programs, the Counselor in Training, or the CIT program, remains at 74 enrolled youth, which is 48% above our target. The Fayetteville Cumberland Youth Council, FCYC, enrolled 62 youth in Q3, again, which is 24% above our annual target. The Junior Officials Program holds at 12 enrolled youth against a target of 23, and staff is exploring ways to expand awareness ahead of the next enrollment cycle for this. And finally, the PALS program closed Q3 at 49 youth, which now exceeds the annual cumulative target of 120 PALS program participations. And all of these flagship youth programs can be viewed, assessed, or if you want to see more detail about it, on the Fayetteville's website, on the Parks and Recreation and Youth Engagement. All of these programs are listed on the city website for more information. So next, in collaboration with OCS, 9 Parks and Recreation events were co-hosted through OCS, bringing our year-end total to 14 engagement events, already exceeding the annual target of 10. And also ECD provided $674,000 which was invested in Parks and Recreation projects in Q3, in which the department also hosted or participated in 23 youth-focused educational and outreach events. On infrastructure, supporting youth access and mobility, the 2018 pedestrian sidewalk plan advanced significantly in Q3, with 87% of identified projects now complete, which is up from our Q2 metric of 52%. So as you can see, these youth-centered programs and infrastructure investments foster leadership, teamwork, and confidence while keeping youth connected to and engaged with positive community outlets and future-ready opportunities.
So as you can see, Council, tonight's update, staff continues advancing a significant amount of work within Council's established priorities, and the Q3 data reflects meaningful progress and continued momentum across the organization. Moving forward, staff will bring back your FY27, not the FY26, but the FY27 strategic plan priority action plans and support and performance analysis for Council's consideration and adoption. We'll also return to Council in August 2026 with the FY26 year-end closeout or the year-end strategic plan update, providing a comprehensive look at the year-end performance, accomplishments, trends, and emerging focus areas moving into FY27. So thank you, Council, for your continuing leadership and support as staff continues advancing your strategic priorities throughout the city. We appreciate Council's partnership and direction as departments continue working to translate strategic goals into measurable outcomes that positively impact our residents, our businesses, and our neighborhoods.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Thank you, Mr. Brayboy. Did have a couple questions before I go to the dean over here. Very thorough. I like the KPIs, and you guys always do a good job with that. I don't know if this question would be for you or maybe for the manager. I didn't see any information or very little participation in the employee and the resident surveys. Like, so you got resident surveys, there were NAs all across for most of them. You know, how's your trash service? How's the, what's your feel about the economy? What's your feel about public safety? Did the police respond? And on the employee surveys about it's just a great place to work, I saw one person fill it out for the last couple of quarters. How do you all track that, or how do we get those surveys so we can get some feedback on that?
So it's a biennial survey, so every other year. So implementation.
Every other year, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So in your first year, you start building out your work plans, starting to integrate that in, and then you start implementing after you build your work plans to address the concerns that either residents or employees have. And then from there, you start implementing. So if you did a survey every year, by the time you start implementing any of the changes or
well, I guess I'm not saying re-strategize, right? But for a company that you call for anything, says if you hold on for a brief survey, +1 if you were satisfied to, I mean, you always get ongoing information because you got ongoing interaction. So particularly with the citizens, I don't think we can make policy adjustments every 2 years. If you're 50% in satisfaction on something, that's not information you need to know every 2 years. Because to me, it seems like you want to match and see if it's declining or if it's improving. What did we do right or what did we do wrong? Like, I guess this is a conversation with the manager, because this comes up during our evaluations that where we want surveys for people who interact with development services, people who interact with the city in any way, because at the end of the day, they're the customer. The citizen is the customer and the user of our services. So I would like to hear more about that. And then on the employee level, how do you check in every 2 years? I guess that's more of a manager question. So, Mr. Hewitt, you want to do that?
Yes, sir. We provided the council the development services data earlier this year.
That was just an example.
We also, as we talked about at the strategic planning retreat, information I was unaware of, and I thank the council members who were there for reminding me of it, that we actually, if you go to our website now, we actually have surveys when you go to our website. Customer service feedback is always an important part, and so as to not shortchange and leave something out, we'll be happy to put that together again in an administrative report of all that we're doing.
Well, not asking necessarily for that, but that should be in here, because you've got a space for it. It just doesn't have the information plugged in. You see where citizens
Which slide are you talking about, Council?
Sir?
Mayor, which
Like, so
slider?
if you go to the scorecard, scorecard KPS
Oh, yeah.
master spreadsheet.
So that metric that you're referring to, that's
Uh-huh.
on our citywide residential or our resident survey, which falls. So the resident survey and then the employee survey, they're on opposite cycles.
So you got different
right.
reports for that.
Right. So that's on the score. That's on the council's scorecard. That wouldn't fall into one of council's priority KPIs.
Got you. All right. So you're saying you're going to give us a spreadsheet report because why did you have it on here if it's not to be included in here?
Because that's a part of council's adopted scorecard, those metrics that fall within for the resident survey. And this past, which would have been in October going into December, is when we typically would have the resident survey. And we didn't have one on this cycle because it failed in tangent with.
So I guess that
the
goes back
election.
to the every 2 years. So,
That's right,
So
right.
yeah, I guess my question is more directed over there. But I want to belabor this because you just gather data and give it back to us. So I guess this is a Dr. Hewitt conversation that I think we got to hear more often than every 2 years. So I guess this needs to probably be a conversation that, surveys have come up regularly, and I like what you said about specifically the developmental service for them to do it. But certainly would like to hear from the citizens about how we're doing more than that, and the employees, right? Because they need to be able to speak freely, maybe to take it in a random way or something, just so that we can know what we have. And the last question I have: tell the council about the program you're working with Deloitte. Deloitte is an major accounting firm, one of the largest accounting firms. They have a program where they put some of their master level folks here to help you with data collection. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. So FSU as well as Deloitte, their master's program, actually reached out and we had a meeting with them and we brought in some, I would say interns, but they were students through FSU. And we actually had,
MBA students, right?
Yeah, some were MBA. There were a few that were undergrad, but they were all business majors. I think we had 6 different teams, between 4 and 5 students per team. They reached out. We set up a few meetings. We were in the introductions. We gave some ideas of where we seen that there would be areas that need improvement or just some touch points. From there, we helped set up a team. We orchestrated it with the department heads for each one of those teams. And each group went to that team and actually took on a project. And from there, they looked at some of the data and then ultimately gave out recommendations to staff for them to look at, and then potentially bringing those students back to look at how we could implement some of those changes. So it was more of a process improvement that the team did within the individual departments.
All right, thank you. Councilman Hare and then Jones and McMillan.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thompson.
And guys, thank you. You always give a very good, detailed, and thorough report. You all do very well together. If you would go to number 2, and it's probably more for my clarity than anyone. For example, when we look at the jobs retained through EDC, the small businesses that are supported through partnership, and the one there about the amount of funds that we invest in small businesses, unless it's listed somewhere else, do we show a listing, for example, of the last one I just mentioned, the small businesses, or who it is that are reaching out for us for funding to do business?
The ones that have received it, or the ones that have applied?
The ones that have received it, yes. Is that somewhere that that's something I would just, I guess, personally like to know. What businesses, what type of businesses is it that we are helping? I'm glad that we're helping.
We certainly can provide you with that information, but I do not have that with me tonight.
That's something I personally would like. I mean, I don't mind if it might be good to share it with my colleagues, but it's always good to kind of know. I would like to know that. When you say we have jobs that are retained through grants, give me a little bit more clarity on what that means. What it says, which one is that on? Yeah, that's supposed to be up under 2?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. So when we make small business loans
Yes, sir.
to small businesses, they have to either preserve a job or create a job. So create or retain. And so that's what those numbers are for. For every $25,000, we need to create or retain a job.
And is that information given to us so we know what that is too if we want to know?
Certainly. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'd like to see that too. Now, when you go to number 3, I know that we have to pay for, well, right here, I guess it's saying only 3 per quarter if we look at the blighted structures. And I know that's one of our priorities we have a lot of discussion on as far as cleaning Fayetteville and get rid of buildings. Is there anywhere within that line item, does the city get a return back at all on those blighted that we go in and actually pay the money to demo? Do we get, I know that, it is to put liens on certain properties and whatnot, but I mean, I don't even know. I'm just wondering how that goes. Do we get a return back? Or are we successful with any of those liens? Are we in the green or in the red?
I do not have an answer for that.
It's
but,
just data, guys. Here's a.
Yeah, I could definitely research that with staff.
Yeah,
and
I
answer
just
back.
wondered what the return was on that. Are we just spending the money and not getting any return back on those liens?
I do outside of the liens, I'm not 100%, but
Yeah, but if you could get that and share, I would love to have it. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. All right. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very quickly, first of all, thank you all again. I always like the QI lean management aspect of what you all do. Just saw some opportunities for us when we had the community meeting over in the District 3 area. One of the top 3 things that came up was having the city to continue to brand itself in a positive manner. And I was just looking over the scorecards and everything as regards to like the 32,000 linear feet of sidewalks, the over 42 miles of roadways that were paved, and how we even exceed curb cleaning, things like that community probably does not know. So just maybe not for you all, just in general for staff, those are some opportunities that we can use to continue to market ourselves in a positive manner to do that. And then lastly, I know the permitting aspect is market driven. I'm going to be curious to find out what that would look like with what we have going on now, if it really looks at that permitting process. And is there a correlation with the low numbers that we're seeing? We know there's a market aspect, but I'll be curious to see if there's some sort of correlation so that we can do some work there. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Councilmember.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you again. That was a damn good brief. Y'all have expertise and show it every time you're on the dais in terms of telling our story. I hear all of the thousands of incidents of us doing right in terms of providing services, in terms of dispersing grants, answering calls, et cetera. And I think you spoke very well to the priorities that were laid out earlier this year by the council. I'm looking for ways still to tell the story of how this impacts individuals and families in my district. And it's not a knock on you all at all. I'm asking all staff, just about every meeting, for disaggregated data that shows what's going on in District 8 and in Western Fayetteville, so that they feel included in all of the success and the impact. And we'll be able to tell the story out there as to how it's really impacting people in our area, in our neighborhoods. Also, looking for honest ways to tell the story in a way that puts us in relation to the crises that we're facing, the gaps that we need to meet. I'm thinking primarily about housing. Periodically in this room, we talk about the gap, the housing shortage. Would love to hear in our metrics and our advancements how we're eating into that, how we're reducing the delta in terms of housing and then other issues like our unhoused population. I know we can't do that in every measure, but I think where we do have those statistics, we might be able to paint the picture. And then this is something that came up earlier this year. This is for the council because we are talking about strategic priorities. We mentioned environmental protections and environmental strategic objectives, and we did move on it. Since we had that conversation earlier this year, we understand, I think, a little bit better how finite our resources are. We're paying for something for gas. We're in a drought. We're facing this question of how to protect ourselves in terms of the data center question. And I think it'd be great to revisit environmental protections in a strategic plan. Overall, I want to say thank you and congratulations again. I'm hearing also more in terms of measures of effectiveness. I hear throughout that brief, home buyers and youth, the numbers that have been impacted by the work of our staff and the services provided. I'm hearing about students served. I'm hearing percentages above annual and quarterly targets. And just want to say thank you for your expertise and thank you for your work.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Thank you, Mr. Brayboard. I want to follow up on my colleague Jones's question. We talked about permitting. You said staffing. Do we have a lack of staffing? That's why we only had 133 permits, which was the lowest of all 3 quarters.
I know we had a retirement for a long-term planner. Outside of that, I don't want to speak in Dr. Newton's behalf, but Ms. Jody can come up and speak on that. But I know outside of the retirement.
See what happens when you come give all this data.
I know, questions. There are a couple positions that are unfilled, the planning and zoning manager, which we're hopeful to fill shortly, and some planners, hopeful to fill those positions in the next couple of weeks or a month. That would alleviate some of that workload.
But the answer is no. The staffing there does not impact the permits. You would see that on the timeliness of us doing inspections, and that is measured on a separate metric. But we will follow up with Dr. Newton tomorrow and send that out to council in December.
Well, let me follow up to that question because our vacancy rate went down quite a few percentage rates. How come it go up in planning?
That's citywide. So that's
citywide.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's looking at your commercial, residential.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a combination of all of those metrics together.
Next question is stormwater. If you go to slide 1, it says stormwater assets inspected. How do we go from 3,000 to 31,000?
So those are done individual. So each one of those are individual. So it could be a bridge, it could be a drainage, it could be any one of those points. So they are set on cycles that they go through inspection. So you may see a high point at this point, and then next time it drops down to 2,000 or 3,000.
I'm totally understanding that. But from 3,000 to 31,000?
That is a large jump.
Is that a large jump or that a misprint?
We verified that with our data, and that was the correct number. So we can work with public
Slide
services
one,
to get you.
The last item on slide 1. Let me go back to sidewalks. I don't know what slide this on, but it said that our pedestrian plan from 2018 is 87% completed, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it'll probably be completed by the end of the year, according to how fast you're moving. What do we start next? Do we start the supplement plan, or do we have to do another pedestrian plan to start increasing our sidewalks around the city?
Byron, Sheila, can you help us?
Yeah, so a number of the remaining projects on the 2018 plan, they're the ones that are currently under design or in construction right now. Kind of discussed that a couple weeks ago. Coming into the CIP for next year, we do have projects proposed in sidewalks and supplemental plan. So we're moving forward with the 2025 adopted pedestrian plan and supplemental school plan. So those projects would be 27 and on.
Right, so the supplement plan, I think, is the 2022 pedestrian supplement plan that we emphasize sidewalks around schools.
supplemental plan. They were done in tandem.
Same time, gotcha. Outstanding. My last question was the demo. My colleague, Councilmember Hare, talked about demolition. I'm trying to figure out what slide that was on. But if we are, number 3, if we did 42% in the third quarter and only 12% in the second quarter, how do we get to 100% funding? Because you said the demo for CDBG is pretty much all gone. So the rest of it will come out of the general fund, correct?
Yes, sir. Once we spend all the CDBG funded, it will be relying on the general fund.
And we always ask this question every year, is there enough funding for blight removal? And the answer is always no. So how much do we need to increase that so we don't have full capacity by the third quarter?
Chris, it's a trick question. Don't take the bait. You'll see that in the next month or so when we bring you the demolition of several large commercial structures that could total more than $1 million.
Gotcha. Wow.
But you are correct, and it has also been a priority of this council for us to work to try to make sure things don't end up on a blighted list. It's also been your interest for us, particularly for residential, privately owned property, for us to access CDBG funds so that we don't have to put a lien on the people's property. But sadly, we've got a couple of large commercial structures out here that we're going to have to bring to the council for your consideration and assistance in figuring out what to do with them. Some of them are on Murkison Road, and some of them are in other locations as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great job, fellas.
All right, Councilman Davis, and then second round, the council got to move it. Got one more item, public hearing. Folks waiting on us. Mr. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick question on number 2, the enhancing growth throughout the city. When we talk about jobs created, in quarter 1 there was 124. Why is there such a decline from quarter 1 to quarter 3 in jobs created? Is that because it was almost maxed out, or?
No, sir. Unfortunately, they counted internships in that, and so that makes up the discrepancy. We will not be reporting internships in the future because it skews those numbers.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, second round. Councilman McMillan in here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to make a motion to receive the report.
All right, I'll come back to that. Is there a second on that? Second by Davis. All right, Councilman Harris, you had a follow-up?
Well, yes, sir, but basically that's why it was somewhat rather important that we received that data on if there is any funding received back on those liens when we do the demo. So, sorry, I thought I was already on. And especially with what you just stated, we get ready to have in the corridor and a couple of other places.
Yes, sir.
That's why it's important to have that.
We're really excited and going to be working with the city attorney that a lot of the properties that we go out when we have fines or money that is owed to the city, if there's a way for us to attach liens and then maybe try to enforce those liens, to either get the property owners to sell them versus us just holding thousands of dollars of unpaid liens and stuff like that, and the property's just sitting. But we've been working on a variety of strategies. I think I mentioned to some of you when we were in Raleigh, not a ramp alternative, but that program I talked about that haven't told the city attorney about completely. So she's but Pride in Place, something that an idea that we have, and that will partly be successful by having some real teeth, which is when people let properties sit with violations for long periods of time, us to try to compel them to fix them.
And not trying to prolong this, Mayor. I know we want to move on, but that's why it's so important for us to have some issues where we have some teeth in some things, because I'm sick and tired of having fines go out, liens go out, conversations go out, people screaming for years about things in their neighborhood, and we don't get nothing. So I really, really hope we get to that point to where there is some additional teeth to get some of these things done. But thank you, Mayor.
All right, with that, we'll wrap this dental lesson up, gentlemen. But thank you, guys. So we've got a motion by Councilmember McMillan and seconded by Davis. We've had discussion. Council, look to you for your votes to receive the report from these gentlemen, the dynamic duo, Lowry Brayboy. All right, Madam Clerk. I guess our sure system done went home for the night, didn't it? All right, show of hands. Those in favor? All right, all right. All right. All right, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Jody. Thank you, Alex. All right, council, we're moving to the public hearing. This time we were preparing to hold a public hearing where the city council formally seeks your input. Individuals desiring to speak at the hearing must have signed up to speak with the city clerk by name and address before the beginning of tonight's meeting. We begin with staff presentation, then we move into the formal hearing. 15 minutes will be allowed for those in favor and those opposed of the items of the hearing. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each unless by previous arrangement a single spokesperson is designated, in which case that spokesperson may use the entire time. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium. Please clearly state your name. I'm going to scratch this and address off of here because that's in my brain. Is it on this one? See, that's why I get
For
messed up.
addresses, or for public hearings, we do need addresses, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
See, y'all trying to trick me up. All right, name and address. And for the record, you may then address the city council when the light changes from green to amber. That means you have 30 seconds remaining. At the conclusion of your time, the timer will ring. And so with that, we'll turn it over to you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. My name is Lamont Henson. I am a community relations specialist with Fayetteville PwC. Thank you for allowing me the time to present this evening. Tonight's presentation is intended to provide background info on Project Area 26, one of the remaining neighborhoods included in the City of Fayetteville Phase 5 annexation program. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to present the final assessment information associated with the installation of public sewer infrastructure in the project area and to ensure property owners as well as council members an understanding of the process, costs, and next steps. With an overview of this presentation will cover a brief overview of the overall Phase 5 annexation program timeline, and progress to date, the Project Area 26 background and events completed so far, assessment costs to property owners, available financing options, requested city council actions, and next step. Our goal is to provide context and explain how we arrived at this point in the annexation process.
1 second, sir. And if you can stand up tall. Just angle the microphone so you don't have to break your back a little bit. Paula, can you move the microphone up for me as well? I wish I was that tall.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what we're looking at is the Phase 5 annexation map. This map illustrates the overall boundaries for Phase 5 annexation, for the Phase 5 annexation program. The program includes 34 project areas that are identified for extension of sewer service to neighborhoods that were annexed into the city but didn't have access to public sewer at the time annexation became effective. Project Area 26 includes Cliffdale West and Woodmark, which are two remaining areas in the program. This is a timeline for Phase 5 annexation. It officially came into effect in 2005, and the construction began in 2007. So far, there have been 25 of 34 project areas completed. More than 6,700 sewer connections are available. We're close to half, over 3,300 property owners have connected to the system. Construction is ongoing in several areas, with other areas in the design and assessment stages. Full program completion is projected by the year 2031. I'm sure that is something that may come up again. Again, that is the projected timeline for completion for Phase 5. Now, there has been an increase in some costs, and this is a reflection of material costs, labor costs, as well as regulatory requirements and inflation. Here is a breakdown of some of those areas that have been completed. There are 25 projected areas already completed. This represents a substantial investment in public infrastructure and has been demonstrated by the city as well as PwC for ongoing commitment to extend sewer services to annex neighborhoods. The most recent completed area is Area 32 East, Section 1. These are some of the remaining areas that are currently in process. Project Area 26 is also listed and is listed as connection available, meaning construction is complete and residents are now able to connect to the sewer system. Other project areas are in various stages, including construction and preliminary assessment. This is a project area map for 26. This map highlights and includes Cliffdale West and Woodmark neighborhoods. There is a total of 287 properties in this project area. Properties now have access to public sewer service following the completion of construction. Now, there are 6 steps in the annexation process: design, preliminary assessment, construction, connection available, the assessment roll, and the assessments being levied. After council confirms the assessment roll, assessments will officially be levied. This is a breakdown of some key milestones and outreach efforts that have taken place dating all the way back to 2020. As you can see, we have done our due diligence in notifying the property owners as well as working with City Council to make sure that the process continues to progress along. The construction period was during October of 2023 until March of 2025, so about a year and a half. And there's been more communication done with the property owners as well as holding community meetings. And this is something that will also come up again. Typical assessment cost is around $5,000 for this area. A front foot rate of $55.56 with a minimum of 90 feet could be something that is outside of the typical cost of that $5,000. Now, note, no payment is due until construction is complete and the assessment roll is confirmed by City Council. These are some of the payment options. Residents can pay in full and have no interest levied if they pay within the 51 days of things being completed. There are also financing available for all residents up to 10 years. Prime rate of 2%, not to exceed 8%, but again, this is set by City Council, and installments can be made annually or monthly. There's no penalty for early repayment, and for those that are eligible or who qualify, they can receive assistance through the City of Fayetteville's Economic and Community Development Office. Again, this is something I am presenting just for information. No action is required tonight. This will continue on, or the next time that this will be met on will be June 8th. After confirmation, we will send out letters to the property owners in project area 26. We're looking to hold a community meeting on June 25th at Lake Rim Recreation Center. This meeting will allow residents to ask further questions with our staff, as well as learn more about the payment and financing options available. This concludes the presentation for Project Area 26. I greatly thank you for your time and attention. And at this time, I will accept any comments or questions about the presentation. Thank you, Mayor and City Council.
Thank you. We, at this point, will open up the public hearing. Do have a couple of people who are registered and signed up to speak. So if there's some questions, we'll circle back to you. All right, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our first speaker is Mr. John Amaker.
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for having me. I just saw some wazoo figures flashed up there by my predecessor. The questions I have are $5,000 in the assessment. I'd like to ask my predecessor if he's available for that. How did they arrive at $5,000? Who arrived at it and how?
Yeah, you'll address us during the hearing, then we'll get the questionnaires. Yes, sir.
So, $5,000. How was that arrived at per residence? Does anybody have the answer?
Yeah, we'll get that. This is your time. You've got 3 minutes, so you don't want to use it with us responding. But
I thought we'd address one question at a time.
Yes, sir.
Also, in the installment plan, that's very generous, 2%. I'm not asking to take a loan out for this, but some folks will set up bank accounts to cover taxes, especially those that pay quarterlies. So is there, one, any way to reduce that amount? Two, is there any way to do this without incurring any interest payments, in that we would set up accounts to put deposits in to pay the installments monthly or quarterly or yearly? Those are my questions.
Okay. You still have a minute 47. Did you have anything else? We're going to get the answers to the two things you've asked.
My esteemed colleague, Betty Amaker, my wife, we live at 6839 Bryanstone Way, Cliffdale West, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Were there any questions that you had?
I think I've got her signed up next, so she'll have some time too. But
very well. I cede my time.
All right. Well, don't get too far. Let's get some answers for you. In terms of the $5,000, I think your question was how was the amount determined that the resident paid? So when this was done in 2005, at that time a determination was made that the city would pay $5,000. The PwC would pay $5,000, and the other $5,000 would be paid by the customer. And so that's where that number came from. But over time, as you can see on his graph, instead of being a $10,000 to $15,000 cost, over time it's now grown to $40,000. But the $5,000 from the customer is a fixed amount because that was within what was put into the agreement. Okay. And so, as to your question on the interest. The prime is prime plus 2. So what that is in the event that, as you said, you want to finance it, there is some calculation which is determined some years ago by council. We're not, the city's not a bank, so it didn't want to compete from that level. But it was prime plus 2% if it's broken down over payments over time, and that was kind of to help PwC offset, because they're covering the 40, the difference between the 5 that you're paying and the 40 that it costs. PwC has got to find a way to pay for that because the legislator made them responsible for that. So I hope that helped you somewhat. But your wife still may have some time that I can that if she wants to continue some of your questions that if we didn't answer something. So I have her next to speak unless she was letting you be the spokesperson. Then you can keep going.
Let's keep going.
All right.
Thank you.
She can't. Huh? Okay. Yes. Is she there? He's okay to speak for you.
Miss Betty.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Okay. All right. Council, any questions? This was the public hearing. So any other, Madam Clerk, other than Miss Betty, who allowed Mr. John to speak for her? Do we have any others signed up to speak?
No, sir. Mr. John and Miss Betty are the only two speakers.
Okay. All right. So with that, we'll close the public hearing. And council, any questions, Councilman McMillan?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Was just with this community the other night, Cliffdale West and Woodmark. A lot of concerns about what's happened in the past, but also the future. I want to hear about the 2031, how we came up with 2031 versus 2037. And I'm actually relieved to hear 6 years knocked off of that timeline. Also, it might not be a question for tonight, but it definitely is a question for council and the timeline of expansion of the program to include assistance or further assistance for assessment fees, and if we can give the public an earliest and a latest estimate. Because I would imagine that people are watching our meetings, are seeing what's in motion, and would not want to jump too early and move on paying assessment fees when they could have relief a little bit later. So that is a question that's out there, more for the council than for PwC.
Thank you, Councilman McMillan. And Mr., am we pronouncing it right, Mr. Amaker? Amaker? Forgot to tell you about, so the city council recently, there's a connection assistance program that was available, but it had income restrictions. But the council recently expanded that and raised the eligibility for it. And so it could be a good possibility that that you may qualify. That you may qualify, and it would actually offset or pay the $5,000. And so the we're trying to encourage more people to connect without putting them in a financial bind. So if you can check back with us, we just recently passed that, and that's what your council member representative was referring to. But if you check back with the city, probably in the next 30 days or so, reach out to him or myself, and we'll get you with the right folks to tell you how to apply for that. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mr. Hens. All right, council, is there a motion to adjourn? All right. Good meeting.